from a baby, obviously my mum and dad both abused drugs quite heavily. They struggled to look after any child that they brought into the world. I was kept as a secret from my family when I was born because of my mum and dad struggling to accept the kind of lifestyle that they'd brought me into. I was adopted at a young age and started off in the care system from being born, basically. Obviously, my adoption was going well at the start, but eventually broke down due to certain circumstances. I felt as if I was kind of misplaced in a way, and obviously I struggled to understand the reasons as to why I was adopted, and kind of like rebelled against my adoptive family and their beliefs, and tried to fit into the wrong crowd and got myself into maybe situations that weren't helpful or that I struggled to understand. And obviously I got into certain situations that probably weren't the best things to be involved in, and just struggled as I grew up, really. And then obviously as I got older, then ended up back in the care system, which I did struggle with quite a lot. But I had quite a hard upbringing, just around being brought up around drugs and violence and a lot of other things, really.
Yeah, life was alright for me. I had great loving parents. They really cared for me. I don't remember much of my early life, but from what I remember, I had a really nice life. My dad always took me to the cinemas when I was in secondary after on a Wednesday. It was really nice that. But yeah, I had a really nice childhood.
When I was younger, I lived with my family, and it was always quite a rough upbringing. We didn't get on very well. My parents were not very nice. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of violence. I was very active, and I was a very good student in school. I did girl guiding, went to church, got involved with a lot of clubs and sports and stuff.
Life when I was younger, I went to cadets, went to Riverton and Blackrock High School, and I went to every primary school in the area. Moved around a lot when I was little. Didn't really stay in much place. Family moving around, myself moving around when I got took off my mum a few times. Because my mum made terrible decisions, choosing, say, like, lads over the kids and stuff like that.
It wasn't that great. My mother has a disability herself, and she can be very selfish. So I got put into the care system for a number of reasons, which I don't like to go into. So I think I was a baby when I moved, went to a foster family for a while, and then I moved to another foster family at the age of 6 and stayed till I was 21 or 22, but that broke down, so my social worker referred me to back up.
Well, I grew up in a country in North Africa called Libya. It was tough, yes, because of different political views. I did manage to get my way around because of the friends I had that were around me. Clearly, I was obviously very, very young, so I didn't understand most things until I came to England, and then that's when my life started slowly progressing.
When I was younger, it was definitely a difficult upbringing. I had to grow up a lot quicker than my peers. I had to witness stuff that no young child should ever have to witness, such as domestic violence and having to look after my younger siblings, which wasn't the greatest. I struggled in school quite a bit with some of my studies because I didn't understand what was being asked of me. I had like lots of mental health stuff going on, so I fell behind in school and that. But yeah, my upbringing was definitely a difficult one.
My mum, she's quite ill, and my dad struggled from mental health, which obviously impacted on him massively as he got older, which obviously resulted in him taking his life and obviously committing suicide. Obviously, I found more and more things out about my birth family as I grew up, and obviously struggled to understand why those things were happening. Obviously, I have got other family members and brothers and sisters who have also been put into the care system due to my mum struggling to obviously stop the drugs. So I'd been through the care system and recently just been put into my own property after being left homeless with an ex-partner that I'd then obviously moved into a property with. Eventually, due to our age and obviously different circumstances, it turned into domestic violence, which then I had to flee from. So obviously one day I just packed up and left, and my social worker referred me to back up.
I was struggling to get a job, and I wanted to move out, and my dad passed away about 4 years ago now, and my mum was struggling with handling that with her mental health, and it was quite hard for me and her to live together. So I think my mum got hold of backup, and I remember just having an interview, and then yeah.
I ended up at backup because a major domestic violence incident happened with both my parents, and I ended up homeless and sofa surfing for about a year. And when I started college, they said that was not reasonable and referred me to backup.
I ended up at backup due to me getting took off my mum permanently, as well as my brother and sister. And I came down this way on my Jack Jones, and via bullying my social worker into getting a referral put through to backup, I got put onto the backup team.
My social worker referred me. I went to the town hall, and then my social worker got an email to go to Castle House, so I was there for a while.
It was a problem to do with my family. I was fleeing my family, and I got help from others, such as friends and teachers and things like that. I was speaking to quite a lot of people at the time, just to get my mind out of the tough situation I was in. But the main reason is I came to backup because I was fleeing my family.
I ended up back up because I had a relationship breakdown with my mum. She's actually been kicking me out since I was 16, on and off. I came back from university in January, and my mental health sort of plummeted, and she sort of couldn't cope with my mental health, with me being in and out of hospital, and so we both decided it'd be best for me to sort of just leave, which was a good thing.
I'm diverse because I've been brought up in a mixed cultural family, obviously, been through the care system and seen different people and obviously different lifestyles, been brought up around different kinds of situations that have made me into the person that I am today.
I had a stroke when I was 4. I don't, as I said before, I don't remember much of my early life. I've only just, I can tell you what I've been told off my parents. I was in Spain, and when we got there, when we got into the hotel room, I collapsed on the floor. I was in Spanish hospital for 2 weeks, and then I was in Bolton hospital for 6 weeks. I didn't have my voice, I couldn't walk at all. And on Christmas Day, my voice came back, so my mum was very happy about that. And I was in a wheelchair throughout the first few years of me being in primary school, but in time I just decided I want to be a bit more independent. But yeah.
I struggle a lot with my mental health, and that has been a really big battle for me. I have anxiety and depression, and I struggle a lot with things like self-harm and panic attacks.
What makes me diverse is I'm transgender. I'm male to female trans. Since I disclosed that I was trans to the backup team, it was pretty much the same stuff, but just changed the pronouns that I was gendered by and referred to me as the actual name I wanted to be. It wasn't made as a big deal, which I was greatly appreciated.
I have ADHD and I have dyscalculia, and I have a minor learning difficulty myself. Understanding things as such and processing the information. My disability, I struggle with bills, money, and like doctor appointments and speaking on the phone to companies.
My sexuality makes me diverse. I'm gay, and certain families don't accept that, and that's okay. But there are people that have to learn to accept, and I'm not saying that it's not okay to accept, it's just completely fine, but in my opinion, I would rather people to be more accepting than non-accepting.
I think the fact with my mental health definitely makes me diverse. I've got a diagnosis of emotionally unstable personality disorder, which is also known as borderline personality disorder, and it is a mental illness that is hard to live with. It's not completely treatable, but it is manageable. So, yeah.
At first, I did struggle, obviously, with trusting in people and accepting the help that was offered to me. But eventually I did realise that they are there to help me, and obviously staff have supported me regardless of my struggles and regardless of my thoughts, and sometimes maybe not being willing to fully engage with them. But they've always understood my point of views, they've always took the time out to speak to me, whereas maybe going through the care system I didn't have that a lot, where staff would actually take the time out of the day to listen to my points and my feelings, whereas the staffing back up, I've had the time to do that and to look into why maybe I feel the way I do sometimes. So they have helped me a lot with stuff like that.
So when I moved into backup, they made sure that I was in the ground floor flat, because I do sometimes struggle getting up the stairs. They've been fantastic. I think every staff member's been really nice to me. They've helped me a lot when I moved here, and welcomed me very nicely, and they've helped me move out where I am in West Dorton now. Got a nice flat there, and that. Yeah, I haven't got anything bad to say about them.
Backup are quite amazing at how they deal with young people who are struggling. For me personally, my support worker was an absolute star, and she always checks up on me and always looks out for me. And I worked with the Chances team, who would make sure I was okay, and we'd do work on my mental health things that I was struggling with. And anytime I needed them, day or night, they were always there.
Everything was still the same level of support, which is top notch, and it was just a quick change of pronouns and name. Yeah, my support worker handled it top notch and went above and beyond supporting me. Happy days.
They've been very supportive. Like, if I needed something or doing something, they would support me to do it. Examples are such as bills, doctor's appointment, getting all my medication that I need. The drop-in was really good, other than the youth people could be a bit mean sometimes. But the staff was kind of nice, and they supported me too, so it wasn't too bad.
Backup supported me in many different ways. There were tough times that I wouldn't prefer to speak to others about, but it got too tough to the point I felt like I should speak to at least someone, and so I did come to the office at Backup and speak to the staff members here, and I was helped, and it was a bit easy for me to let my emotions out, because say if I was speaking to a friend or a close person to me, I'd feel quite embarrassed to like start crying on the spot or something. With Backup staff, they made me feel quite comfortable doing that, and it eased my emotions a bit, and so I was feeling really comfortable and trustworthy of them.
With Backup, they've always listened to me, and the staff at Reds have been amazing in supporting me and listening to my feelings and views, and looking out for me. And then, Chances have been great as well. One of the support workers, Kristen, has been absolutely amazing, very good with helping me deal with my self-harm and all that stuff. But yeah, that was